fire," the old woman said. "The warning pattern means fire in the village." And Alma's 6 blind kids are at home. She nearly had hypertension. "God, what do I do?" Alma asked herself. She quickly dropped her tools and began to run. My children," she shouted, muttering some fervent prayers as she ran back home. "You'll never make it in time," Nana, the old woman, called after her. "It's too far." But Alma ran faster than she had ever run before. Her lungs burned, her legs ached, but she kept running. "Please let them be safe," she prayed as she ran. "Please, please, please." When she was still a mile from the village, she could see smoke filling the sky. "No, no, no," she cried, running even faster. As she got closer, she could hear shouts and cries. The smoke made her eyes water and her throat burn. "My children!" she screamed as she approached their small house. The fire had started in a nearby hut and spread quickly. Villagers rushed about with buckets of water, but they had skipped Alma's home, focusing on saving their own. "Let it burn," she heard someone say. "That family is cursed anyway." When Alma finally reached her house, she was surprised to see it untouched by the flames, but surrounded by thick smoke. And outside, standing in a perfect line, were her 6 children, hand in hand. "Kwame," she called out, coughing from the smoke. "Mama," he answered. "We're here. We're all here." She ran to them and counted frantically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All here, all safe. "We smelled the smoke," Kwame explained, still holding his siblings' hands tightly. "I remembered what you taught us. I told everyone to hold hands so no one would get lost. I counted us," Kojo added proudly. "I made sure all 6 were together before we went outside." "We walked 15 steps to the water pot," Abina said, "then 20 more steps to get outside the yard." Tears streamed down Alma's face as she hugged them all. "You are such smart, brave children." "Were you scared, Mama?" little Isi asked, touching Alma's wet cheeks. "Yes," Alma admitted, "but I'm not scared anymore. You have shown me how strong you all are." That night, as the village assessed the damage from the fire, an elderly man approached Alma's house. It was Chief Mensa, the village elder who had never spoken to Alma before. "May I come in?" he called from outside. Alma opened the door, surprised to see the important man. "Chief Mensa, welcome to my home." The chief looked at the 6 children sitting together on the floor, quietly eating their evening meal. "Your children," he said slowly. "How did they escape when even families with seeing eyes lost members today?" Alma straightened her back, feeling a new pride. "I taught them. Every day we practice. They know the sound of danger. They know how to feel their way out. They know how to count each other. 2 died today," the chief said sadly. "A mother and child who got lost in the smoke. They could see, but panic made them run the wrong way." Alma nodded. "My children don't panic. They have lived in darkness all their lives. Smoke doesn't change that." The chief looked at her with new respect. "The elders were wrong about your family. A curse doesn't produce such clever children." "No curse, Chief Mensa," Alma said firmly. "Just different eyes. My children see with their ears, their noses, their hands, and their hearts." The chief nodded slowly. Perhaps there is something we can learn from you and your children." After he left, Kwame asked, "Does this mean people won't be afraid of us anymore, Mama?" "I don't know," Alma answered honestly, "but today you have shown them that being blind doesn't mean being helpless." For the first time since Kofi's death, Alma felt a tiny spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, the village would stop seeing her family as cursed. "Tomorrow will be better," she told her children as they prepared for sleep. "Each day we grow stronger together." But harder times were coming, and that small spark would need to grow into a flame if they were to survive what lay ahead. As the seasons changed, life grew harder for Amma and her children. Nana, the old woman, had fallen ill and could no longer manage her farm. Without that work, Amma struggled to feed her growing children. "Mama, is there any more food?" Abena asked one evening, her small hand reaching out to touch Amma's arm. "Just a little," Amma said, dividing the remaining portion of yams. "Eat slowly." "My stomach still feels empty," Kwesi whispered, but not low enough that Amma couldn't hear. Amma touched his head gently. "Tomorrow I will find more work. I promise." One evening, as Amma sat outside their hut, mending clothes by the last light of day, she heard Kwame teaching his siblings. "Feel this leaf," he said. "Notice how smooth on top but rough underneath? That's a mango leaf. And this one with the fuzzy feeling. That's cassava." "This one feels pointy," said Essie, running her small fingers over another leaf. "Yes." "That's because it's a palm leaf," Kwame explained. "Remember how Papa used them to make baskets?" "I remember," Kojo said. "He let me help sometimes." "Can we make baskets too?" Akua asked. "Maybe we could sell them." Amma watched silently as her eldest son, now 13, guided his brothers' and sisters' fingers over different plants he had collected. "How do you know these things?" she asked later when the younger children were asleep. Kwame smiled. "I listen when you talk to other people. I remember how things feel. I teach them so we can help you, Mama." "You are becoming a good teacher," Amma said, pride filling her voice. "I want to help," Kwame said. "I hear you crying at night sometimes." Amma touched his face. "You already help more than you know." That night, unable to sleep, Amma had an idea. The next morning, she went to Chief Mensa. "I need to speak with you, Chief," she called from outside his compound. "Come in, Amma," the chief's voice answered. "What brings you here so early?" Amma stood tall before him. "My children need education," she said firmly, "and I need to work." The chief looked uncomfortable. "The school is far away, and they don't teach children like yours." "What do you mean, children like mine?" Amma asked, her voice steady but strong. The chief shifted in his seat. "You know what I mean. Blind children. They need special teaching." "Then I will teach them," Amma replied. "But I need help from the village." Chief Mensa sighed. "What are you asking, Amma?" "Let me use the old meeting hut that no one uses anymore. I will teach my children there during the day. In return, I will watch over all the young children of the village while their parents work." The chief considered this. Many families struggled to work while caring for small children. "But how can a blind person watch over seeing children?" he asked. "We are blind, not deaf," came Kwame's voice from behind Amma. She hadn't heard him follow her. "Kwame, you should be home with your siblings," Amma said, surprised. "I left Kojo in charge," Kwame said. "I wanted to hear what the chief would say." Chief Mensa looked at the boy with curiosity. "Tell me, young man, how would you help your mother watch children who can see?" Kwame stood straighter. "My brothers and sisters and we hear things others don't notice. We know when someone is sad by how they breathe. We can tell when a child is getting into trouble by the way they walk. Our ears are our eyes." Amma stood taller. "My children may not see with their eyes, but they see with their ears and hands. They will help me. We will create a safe place for all children." "Please give us a chance," Kwame added. "Just one chance to prove ourselves." Reluctantly, the chief agreed to give her 1 month to prove herself. 1 month, he said firmly. "If it doesn't work, or if any child gets hurt, you must stop." "Thank you, Chief Mensa," Amma said, bowing her head. "You won't regret this." As they walked home, Kwame held his mother's arm. "Will it work, Mama?" "It has to work," Amma replied. "For all of us." The old meeting hut was full of dust and spider webs, but Amma and her children cleaned it together. Each child had a job. Kwame and Kojo swept. The twins arranged mats on the floor, and even little Essie helped by singing songs that kept everyone's spirits high. "This corner still feels dirty," Akua said, running her hands over the floor. "I'll sweep it again," Kwame offered. "No, I can do it," Kojo said. "You've been sweeping all morning." "Mama, where should we put these mats?" Abena asked, holding a stack of old sleeping mats they had collected. "Put them against the wall," Amma directed. "Later we will lay them out in a circle." "A circle?" Kwesi asked. "Why not rows like in the regular school?" "Because in our school everyone should feel equal," Amma explained. "In a circle no one is in front or behind." "I like that," Akua said, smiling. On the first day, only 2 mothers brought their children, both from families too poor to be picky about who watched their little ones. "Are you sure about this?" one mother asked nervously, looking at the blind children. "How will they know if my son wanders off?" "Trust us," Amma said calmly. "We have prepared everything." "My Kofi is very active," the woman warned. "He runs everywhere." "What does his voice sound like?" Kwame asked. The woman seemed confused. "His voice?" "Yes," Kwame said. "If I know his voice, I can find him anywhere." The woman called her son. "Kofi, come say hello." A small boy of about 4 ran over. "Hello," he said loudly. Kwame smiled. "Hello, Kofi. I'm Kwame. If you need anything today, just call my name, I'll hear you." Amma had positioned her blind children around the hut, each responsible for a different area. "Remember," she told them, "little children make noise. If the noise stops or moves too far, check immediately." "What if they cry?" Essie asked, worried. "Then we comfort them," Amma said, "just like I comfort you when you're sad." Throughout the day, Amma taught the children simple games and songs. When little Kofi tried to sneak outside, Kwame heard his footsteps instantly. "Where are you going, Kofi?" he asked, turning toward the door. "How did you know?" the little boy asked, amazed. "Your sandals make a special sound," Kwame explained. "Would you like to learn a game instead of going outside alone?" By the end of the day, the 2 mothers returned to find their children happily playing games that Amma had invented, games that used touch and sound instead of sight. "They learned to count today," Amma told the surprised mothers. "Feel these." She handed them small clay shapes her children had made. "They count by feeling the different shapes. 1 is round, 2 has 2 bumps, 3 has 3 bumps," one little girl explained proudly to her mother. "He hasn't wanted to learn counting before," one mother said, amazed. "How did you make it fun?" "When you can't see numbers," Amma explained, "you must feel them. Feeling things makes learning more exciting." Word spread quickly. By the end of the week, 10 children came to what the village now called the Hut of Hands. "Why do they call it that?" Kojo asked when he heard the name. "Because in our school, hands do what eyes do in other schools," Amma explained. "I like that name," Abena said. "The Hut of Hands." Each day, more parents brought their children. Some came just to watch, curious about how blind children could help teach seeing children. "My daughter says your son taught her to recognize birds by their calls," one father told Amma. "Now she closes her eyes when we walk and tells me which birds are nearby. I never noticed there were so many." Amma taught all the children, both seeing and blind, to use their senses in new ways. They learned to identify birds by their calls, to tell when fruit was ripe by its smell, to count using songs and clapping patterns. "Close your eyes," she would tell the seeing children. "Now, who can tell me which direction the wind is coming from?" At first, the seeing children struggled with these tasks, but soon they began to understand. "I feel it on my right cheek," one boy called out. "Good," Amma praised. "Now, what does that tell you about the weather?" Wind from the west brings rain, Kwesi answered. Papa taught me that. And something magical happened. The seeing children began to guide the blind children when walking outside, while the blind children taught the seeing ones how to recognize textures and sounds they had never noticed before. Hold my hand, Kwame, a small girl named Ajoa would say. I'll tell you when we reach the big tree. Thank you, Kwame would reply. Now listen to the tree. Can you hear the special way the wind moves through its leaves? One day, a wealthy trader from the city visited the village. He watched the children playing together in amazement. What is this place? He asked Chief Mensa. The chief, who had begun to feel proud of Amma's unusual school, explained her story. So all her children are blind, the trader asked, and now they teach other children? Yes, the chief said. They teach them to see the world in different ways. Which ones are blind? The trader asked, watching the children play. I cannot tell from how they move. The chief pointed out Amma's 6 children. They were born that way. All of them. Incredible, the trader murmured. In the city, blind children are often kept at home. They don't go to school with others. That was true here too, the chief admitted, until Amma showed us another way. The trader was so impressed that he gave Amma a gift, a radio. For your children, he said, so they can hear the world beyond this village. What is this? Kwame asked when Amma brought the box home. It's called a radio, Amma explained. It catches voices and music from faraway places. How can voices travel through the air? Abena asked, touching the radio carefully. It's a kind of magic that clever people have made, Amma said. Listen. She turned the dial and suddenly music filled their small hut. The children gasped. It's like having musicians in our house, Kojo exclaimed. That night the family huddled around the magical box, listening to music and news from far away. For the first time, Amma's children realized how big the world really was. There are schools just for blind children in the big city, Kwame said after hearing a news story. Schools where everyone learns with their fingers and ears, like us. And there are books with special bumps that blind people can read, Akua added excitedly. But with this knowledge came new questions and new dreams, dreams that would be hard to fulfill in their small village. Mama, Kwame asked as they listened to a teacher speaking on the radio, will we ever go to a real school? Will we ever leave this village? The other children grew quiet, waiting for her answer. Do you want to leave? Amma asked, her heart suddenly heavy. Not leave you, Kwame said quickly, but learn more. The man on the radio talks about so many things we don't know. I want to learn to read the bump books, Abena said. I want to meet other blind children, Kojo added. Amma didn't know how to answer. Their life had improved, but true education for blind children seemed impossible in their poor region. What if no one is kind to us in the city? Essie asked in a small voice. Here, we know everyone. And who would help Mama with the school? Kwesi added. They fell silent, each lost in their own thoughts. Yet, once again, Amma refused to accept impossibility. Yes, she promised. Somehow you will. You will learn everything you want to learn, but we will find a way to stay together too. How, Mama? Aqua asked. Amma hugged her children close. I don't know yet, but we have already done many things people said we couldn't do. We will find a way for this too. That night, as her children slept, Amma sat listening to the radio. A woman was talking about new schools opening across the country. Even children with special needs deserve education, the woman said. Amma's heart beat faster. Perhaps the answer would come sooner than she thought. Kofi, she whispered to the night sky, thinking of her late husband. Our children will have more than we ever dreamed possible. Watch over us as we find the way. 3 years passed. The hut of hands had grown into a proper school, with 30 children, 10 of them blind or visually impaired from neighboring villages who had heard about Ama's special teaching. "Mama, another family came today asking about our school," Kwame told Ama one evening. "They have a blind daughter. They walked for 2 days to find us." "Where are they now?" Ama asked, setting down the pot she was stirring. "Chief Mensa is letting them stay in the guest hut," Kwame replied. "The little girl is scared. She doesn't talk much." "What's her name?" Ama asked. "Adwoa. She's 6 years old," Kwame said. "Her parents said other children in their village make fun of her." Ama nodded sadly. "We will visit them after dinner. Essie can help. She's good with shy children." "I want to help too," Essie said, hearing her name. "Is she my age?" "A little younger," Kwame told her, "but she needs friends like you." Ama now had help, 2 village women who had learned her methods, and a young man named Tawiya who had returned from studying in the city. "Teacher Ama," Tawiya called the next morning as she prepared lessons, "I need to show you something special." Tawiya was fascinated by how Ama's children had developed their other senses. He brought books with raised dots that he had seen in the city, books that blind people could read with their fingers. "What is this?" Ama asked, running her fingers over the strange bumps on the thick paper. "It's called Braille," he explained to Ama. "With this, your children could read anything." "Letters you can feel?" Ama asked, amazed. "How is this possible?" "Each pattern of dots stands for a letter," Tawiya explained. "Once you learn the patterns, you can read with your fingers instead of your eyes." "Can you teach us?" Kwame asked eagerly, having overheard the conversation. "I only know a little," Tawiya admitted, "but we can learn together." "How will we get these special books?" Ama asked. "They must be expensive." Tawiya smiled. "We can make our own simple versions. I have an idea." Together, they created simple versions using stiff paper and small stones glued in patterns. Kwame, now 16, learned first and then taught his siblings. "Feel this, Kojo," Kwame said, guiding his brother's fingers. "This pattern means A, and this one is B." "It tickles my fingers," Kojo laughed. "Keep practicing," Kwame encouraged. "Soon you'll read faster with your fingers than seeing people do with their eyes." "Really?" Akua asked, doubtful. "Faster than people who can see?" "Yes," Tawiya confirmed. "I've seen blind people in the city reading so fast their fingers fly across the page." The children practiced every day. Soon they could read simple words made with the stone patterns. "M-A-M-A," Essie spelled out slowly, touching each pattern. "Mama, I just read my first word." Ama hugged her tightly, tears in her eyes. "Yes, my sunshine. You are reading." One afternoon, an important-looking car drove into the village. The sound of its engine made everyone stop and stare. "What is that noise?" Abina asked, tilting her head to listen. "It's a big car," explained one of the seeing children, "very shiny and black." A woman in city clothes stepped out and asked for the blind children's school. "I'll take you there," offered Chief Mensa, who had come to greet the important visitor. When they arrived at the school, the children were in the middle of a music lesson. The blind and sighted children sat in a circle, playing drums and singing. "Don't stop," the visitor said when they noticed her and fell silent. "Please continue. It's beautiful." Her name was Dr. Nyamekye, and she worked for the government's new education department. "I heard about your school from a trader," she told Ama when the song finished. "I didn't believe it until I saw it myself." "Welcome to our school," Ama said formally. "These are my children, Kwame, Kojo, Akua, Abena, Kwesi, and Essie, and these are our students from the village and beyond." "You have created something remarkable here," Dr. Nyamekye said, looking around at the simple but orderly classroom. "In the capital, we are just beginning to talk about education for disabled children, But you've already been doing it for years. We do what we can with what we have, Amma said simply. Can I watch your teaching methods? Dr. Nyamekia asked. Of course, Amma replied. Kwame is teaching mathematics today. Kojo and Aqua lead our music lessons. Abena helps the younger children with language, Kwesi teaches about plants and farming, and Essie helps with games and movement. Dr. Nyameki spent the day watching how Amma and her helpers taught both blind and seeing children together. She was amazed by how advanced the blind children were in mathematics. They calculated complex sums in their heads, while the seeing children still needed to write numbers down. 17 plus 24, Kwame asked the class. 41, called out several blind children almost instantly. How did you calculate so quickly? Dr. Nyamakie asked one small blind boy. I break the numbers in my head, he explained. 24 is 20 plus 4. 17 plus 20 is 37. Then add 4 more to make 41. He doesn't need to write it down to see it, Kwame explained. We see the numbers in our minds. After school ended, Dr. Nyameki sat with Amma and her children in their home. Your children have gifts, she told Amma. They should be in our new special school in the capital. A school just for blind children? Kwame asked excitedly. Yes, Dr. Nyamakie nodded. With proper braille books, trained teachers, and equipment designed for blind students. Could we learn science there? Abena asked. I heard about science on the radio. Yes, and history, literature, even foreign languages, Dr. Nyamakie said. How much does this school cost? Alma asked quietly. The government will provide scholarships, Dr. Nyamakie said. But yes, it would mean they would live at the school. Live there? Essie asked, her voice suddenly small. Without Mama? It's a boarding school, Dr. Nyamakie explained gently. Students live there during school terms and visit home on holidays. All 6 of my children could go? Amma asked. Yes, Dr. Nyamakie confirmed. They would all qualify based on what I've seen today. When would we leave? Kwame asked. The new term starts in 1 month, Dr. Nyamakie said. Think about it. I'll return next week for your answer. After Dr. Nyameki left, the children bombarded Amma with questions. What is the capital city like? Kojo asked. Will there be many other blind children? Aqua wondered. How far away is it? Essie asked, worry in her voice. It's 3 days' journey by bus, Amma told them. The city is very big, with many people and tall buildings. And yes, there will be other blind children there. That night, Amma couldn't sleep. Her children would have real opportunities, education, jobs, a future beyond what she could provide. But they would leave her. Mama, Kwame's voice came from the darkness. Are you awake? Yes, my son, Amma replied softly. I can hear you thinking, he said, moving to sit beside her. Your breathing changes when you're worried. Amma smiled in the darkness. You know me too well. Are you sad about the school? He asked. I want what's best for you, Amma said carefully. But yes, my heart would break to see you go. I want to learn more, Kwame admitted, but I don't want to leave you alone. In the morning, she gathered her children. Dr. Nyamakie has offered you a chance to go to a special school in the capital, she explained. You would learn many things I cannot teach you. The children were quiet for a long moment. Finally, Kwame spoke. Will we all go together? Yes, Amma answered. And will you come too, Mama? Asked little Essie, now 7 years old. Amma swallowed hard. No, my sunshine. I must stay here to run our school. Many children need me here. Who will cook for us? Kwesi asked practically. The school has cooks, Amma explained, and teachers who will help you with everything you need. Who will braid my hair? Aqua asked. There will be people to help with that too, Amma said. But they won't be you, Abena said quietly. Tears filled Amma's eyes, tears her children couldn't see but could hear in her voice. This is your chance to learn so much, Amma said, her voice breaking a little. To become whatever you want to be. But we're already becoming things, Kojo argued. I'm becoming a music teacher. Kwame teaches mathematics. We help other children here. Kwesi, usually the quietest child, stood up. Then I will not go. What? Amma asked, surprised. I will not go, he repeated firmly. My place is here with you, with our school. One by one, each child refused. We stay together, Akua declared, all 7 of us. But the opportunities, Amma began. We are making our own opportunities here, Kwame said. Our school is growing. More children come every month. And who would help the new blind children who come to our village? Essie asked. They need us to show them the way. Amma felt both proud and confused. Are you sure? This might be your only chance for this kind of education. We are sure, Mama, Kwame said, speaking for all of them. Our home is here. Our work is here. Dr. Nyamakie returned the next day for their answer. Thank you for coming back, Amma greeted her. Have you decided? Dr. Nyamakie asked. We are grateful, Amma told her. But we cannot accept. Dr. Nyamakie was shocked. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We know, Kwame said, but our work is here. Many children need us. My children have decided, Amma explained. They want to stay and continue building what we started here. Dr. Nyamakie looked around at the determined faces of the 6 children. I've never met children who would turn down such an opportunity. We're not just any children, Akua said with pride. We're Amma's children, and this is our village. To everyone's surprise, Doctor. Nyamakie didn't argue. Instead, she asked, would you consider an alternative? What if we made your school an official government school for special education? Your children could stay here, and you could train teachers from other villages. You would do that? Amma asked, surprised. After seeing what you've accomplished with almost no resources, I believe your methods should be shared, Dr. Nyamakie said. We could provide proper buildings, materials, even salaries for teachers. We could have real Braille books, Kwame asked excitedly. Yes, and much more, Dr. Nyamakie promised. Special maps with raised surfaces, talking calculators, everything a modern school for the blind should have. And we would stay together, Essie asked, holding Amma's hand tightly. Yes, right here in your village, Dr. Nyamakie confirmed. Your mother would be the head teacher, and you 6 would be her assistants as you grow older. Would other teachers come too? Abena asked. Yes, teachers who want to learn your mother's methods, Dr. Nyamakie said. They would take what they learned back to their own villages. The children looked at each other, their faces lighting up with excitement. What do you think, Mama? Kwame asked. Amma felt hope rising in her heart. If the government truly supports this, it would be a dream come true. I will make it happen, Doctor, Nyamakie promised. Your school will become a model for the whole region. 2 months later, builders arrived in the village. The old meeting hut was replaced by a proper school building with 3 classrooms and special equipment for blind students. What's happening now? Kojo asked, listening to the hammering and sawing. They're putting in special desks, Tawaya explained, guiding his hand to feel the smooth surface. Look, there's a raised edge so your books and papers won't fall off. And what's this? Abena asked, touching a strange machine. It's a Braille writer, Tawaya said. Like a typing machine, but it makes Braille dots instead of letters. Can I try it? She asked eagerly. Of course. Let me show you how it works. Every day brought new wonders. books with real braille, maps with raised mountains and rivers, even balls that made noise so blind children could play sports. I never imagined such things existed, Amma told Dr. Nyamakye when she visited to check on the progress. And this is just the beginning, Doctor. Nyamakye promised. Soon teachers will come from all over to learn your methods. Amma was named the headmistress, with Tawaya as her deputy. Teachers came from other villages to learn her methods. How do you teach blind and seeing children together? One visiting teacher asked. We don't separate them, Amma explained. Each child helps the other learn in different ways. Show them the counting game, Kwame suggested. Amma nodded. Kwesi, will you help me demonstrate? Kwesi, now 11, stood up. First, we pair each blind child with a seeing child, he explained. The seeing child describes what they see, while the blind child counts and remembers. It helps seeing children learn to describe things clearly, Amma added, and it helps blind children create pictures in their minds. On the day the new school opened, the whole village celebrated. Even those who had once called her family cursed now stood proudly beside them. Remember when they used to cross the road to avoid us? Kojo whispered to Akua. Now they can't stop talking about our special school, Akua replied with a small laugh. Chief Mensa presented Amma with a special staff carved with 7 figures, one for her and one for each of her children. This represents wisdom and leadership, he announced. Amma has taught us that eyes are not the only way to see. True vision comes from the heart. Speech, speech, the villagers called to Amma. Amma stepped forward, her children standing proudly beside her. When my first child was born blind, she began, her voice strong and clear. People said it was a curse. When all 6 of my children were born blind, they said we were being punished by the gods. The crowd grew quiet, some looking down in shame at the memory. But what seemed like darkness has brought light to our village, Amma continued. My children have taught me that true blindness is not in the eyes but in the mind, in refusing to see new ways, new possibilities. Here, here, called several voices. This school belongs to all of us, Amma said, to every child who wants to learn, whether they see with their eyes, their ears, or their hands. The crowd cheered loudly. Kwame squeezed his mother's hand. You did it, Mama, he whispered. You made people see us. As the celebration continued, Amma found a quiet moment to visit Kofi's grave. Can you see them, my love? She whispered. Our children have brought light to this village. They cannot see the sun, but they are the sun, warming everyone around them. She placed her hand on the cool earth. We had so little, but look what they have become. You would be so proud. A gentle breeze stirred the leaves above her, almost like a whisper of reply. Mama, Essie called, approaching carefully. Are you talking to Papa? Yes, my sunshine, Amma said, wiping away a tear. Telling him about our new school. Essie knelt beside her and placed a small stone on the grave. I brought Papa a present. Tawaya helped me write his name in braille on this stone. Amma felt the small dots on the smooth stone. It's beautiful. He would love it. Do you think Papa can see us now? Essie asked. Yes, Amma said firmly. I believe he sees everything we do. Then he must be very happy today, Essie said, taking her mother's hand. Yes, Amma agreed. Very happy indeed. 20 years later, the small school had grown into a renowned institution. Students from across the country came to learn. Amma's children, now adults, each taught there. Kwame became an expert in mathematics. The twins specialized in music and crafts. Abena taught languages. Kwesi became known for his agricultural methods for the blind, and Isi developed sports programs. Professor Kwame, called a young teacher one day. "There's a visitor here who wants to meet the famous family." Kwame, now a dignified man of 36, smiled. "Please send them in." The visitor was Dr. Nyamekye, now retired but still elegant. "I had to see it one more time before I die," she said, looking around at the bustling campus that had once been a simple hut. "You have exceeded all my expectations." "It was my mother who made it all possible," Kwame said. "Where is she?" Dr. Nyamekye asked. "I must greet her." "Teaching, of course," Kwame laughed. "She still insists on teaching the youngest children herself." They found Amma in a bright classroom surrounded by small children, some blind, some seeing, teaching them to read with both their eyes and fingers. "Amma," Dr. Nyamekye called softly. Amma looked up, her face now lined with age but still glowing with purpose. "Dr. Nyamekye, what a wonderful surprise." The two women embraced. "Look what you have built," Dr. Nyamekye said, gesturing around. "From one hut to a whole campus." "We built it together," Amma corrected her. "You, me, my children, the whole village." When visitors asked how one woman had accomplished so much, Amma would simply smile and say, "When life gives you darkness, you can curse it, or you can learn to see with your heart. My children taught me that blindness is not in the eyes, it's in the mind, and their minds have always been full of light." Later that evening, as the sun set over the school, Amma sat with all 6 of her children, now successful adults, on the porch of her small house. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if we had gone to the city school?" Abena asked. "Sometimes," Kwame admitted, "but I think we found our true purpose here." "We've helped hundreds of children," Kojo said proudly, "blind children who might never have had an education." "And changed how people think about blindness," Akua added. "All because Mama refused to give up on us," Kwesi said quietly. Amma listened to her children talk, her heart full of pride. From 6 tiny babies who couldn't see, they had grown into men and women who had helped an entire nation see differently. The school's motto, written in both regular letters and braille above its entrance, read, "In the kingdom of the blind, love is the greatest vision." And in the center of the school grounds stood a statue, a mother surrounded by 6 children, their hands reaching outward, not in need but in offering, giving to the world the gifts that many had thought they could never possess. "Mama," Isi asked, now a grown woman but still her baby in many ways, "are you happy with the choices we made?" Amma reached out and touched each of her children's faces, one by one, feeling the strong, confident adults they had become. "My children," she said, her voice full of emotion, "you have turned our darkest days into the brightest light. Yes, I am happy, more than I ever dreamed possible." She looked up at the first stars appearing in the evening sky. "And somewhere your father is happy too. We have traveled a long, difficult road together, but look where it has led us, to a place where blindness is no longer a curse, but a different way of seeing the world." The night wrapped around them like a blanket, and for a moment they were just as they had always been, a mother and her 6 children, bound by love, facing the world together.